Hello, IGN. My name is Jose Otero, and I'm joined by Brian Altano.
What's up, Jose?
So, Brian, let's talk a little bit about The Legend of Zelda for Wii U, which we saw a trailer of during Nintendo's E3 digital event.
Yeah.
Aonuma made some comments this week, at first to GamesBeat, saying, no one ever said that was Link, which set off a lot of speculation. I mean, in general, folks have been speculating like crazy because it's Zelda.
Yeah, and we're like, who is this character, right? I mean, Link is the star of Legend of Zelda. That's been synonymous for ages now. Link's title is usually in the Legend of Zelda titles. We've got Link Between Worlds, we've got Link's Awakening. But who is this, right? So we noticed that some things seemed a little off about the character, some traits. That we didn't have your typical tunic. There was no Master Sword or anything like that.
Yeah, well, and also over the past couple of years, right, you have seen some more androgynous qualities to Link. That,
sure.
Made him look a little bit more feminine. But we asked Aonuma to sort of just clarify a little bit what he meant, or at least he took the opportunity to. And he made sure to point out that, every game needs a protagonist, that he never said it wasn't Link. He just said no one ever said that was Link, which was weird to hear because those two things sort of mean the same thing.
So he's being coy.
He's
messing with us.
I think the original answer was him being coy, and then his additional response was that, where he's like, look, we make main characters. For each iteration, we have to make a main character, and it's not as though the protagonist is always the same. It's just a role within the game that the player occupies. And he was talking, and in some way, I guess I understand what he's talking about, because even leaving the name Link is up to us. Like you could name him Brian out. You can name him Agent Bizzle. You can name whatever.
But I always do name him Link.
Everybody does.
This is the franchise that had a character named Sheik that turned out to be Zelda, right? So there
was speculation.
There's speculation there, and I think the fact that he hasn't just straight up said this is what it is, that's who it is, and put it to rest means that there's something at play here.
Sure. So with that in mind, we sort of changed the conversation, because one of the things that has been sort of a common theme lately, at least that I've been seeing, is there is a contingent of fans that sort of find it odd that Zelda is a character in her own game, but never the hero of her own game.
Right.
So we asked about that. We said, hey, are you interested in this idea? And he said he is, but he says, okay, so one of the things, I think one of the charm points of this particular franchise is that it's called The Legend of Zelda, but Zelda is not the main character. She's not the protagonist, but if you ask me what that is, I don't really know. I mean, if she's the main character, wouldn't the title have to change? Which I thought was a weird way of thinking. And so I just kind of finished our conversation by saying, ultimately that's up to him.
Of course.
Yeah, and he shouldn't worry maybe about it so much, but it would be well received.
I don't know if I buy that, because, we've got other Nintendo games like Super Mario 3D World, where you can play as Princess Peach. You can play as Luigi. The title means nothing to me. And we have seen Zelda playable before in Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks, but she was dead.
Yeah.
So maybe give us a live version of Zelda to play with. I don't see a problem. Nintendo started off with games like Donkey Kong, right, where you played as Mario trying to save the princess from Donkey Kong. And then you got a sequel, Donkey Kong Jr., where you played as Donkey Kong Jr. trying to save your father, Donkey Kong, from Mario. So if that was the basis of their original franchises, why not turn it on their heads? Why not have a game where Link is trapped in a cage and you need to rescue him from Ganon, and you play as Zelda the entire time?
Or and switch up the trope. Exactly.
Sure.
Like, it's a thing that everyone expects, where it's like, okay, Link shows up, you'll eventually run into Zelda. The circumstances are different in most cases, like they try to change it, but the way the path of the narrative travels is always the same.
And we've seen Zelda in Smash Brothers kicking ass, so we don't need this damsel in distress trope anymore. Yeah. Get her out on the battlefield, give her a horse, give her a sword or some arrows, and let her screw some shit up.
All right, well, what do you think of Aonuma's response? Do you think that this is in fact Link, or do you think the series could use a bit of a shakeup with Zelda as the hero? Let us know in the comments, and for more coverage on The Legend of Zelda, as huge fans of the series,
oh yeah,
make sure you keep it right here at IGN.